Here we go. Am I live? Everyone can hear me, I hope. Salutations. I'm Brother Tobias. Welcome to my content channel. I have decided to go live just because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, let's talk about what we're going to do. So, this Saturday, so in 3 days, I have a Supermajor going on. It's gonna be a 5 round Supermajor, and I don't know what to do. I have an idea what to do, kind of. Like there's something I can do, but the problem is I don't feel like doing it because right now I don't like the game. I am really upset about the stupid night meta we're currently in. But this is why I will just do a brainstorming stream, just think about a few ideas for a list and propose a few ideas. So I have new recruits open right here, so we can go through my list here. As you can see, I have a bunch of stuff already already saved up here, but I will basically start from the ground up after I introduce some things. So the rules. We're doing some list building. Uh, Number one, the rules. Uh, Only models I own because I don't have time to paint something in 2 days. It has. I could paint something that is on my shelf and unpainted, but I cannot go out and buy something and put it together and paint it. I don't have enough time. We are playing Space Marines. Space Marines. Ultramarines, so we're not going to switch chapters at all. And third, uh, it has to be playable. So we're not going to do something like uh, a first company Terminator spam or something that just cannot win a single game, or we're doing like Phobos only Vanguard, something silly like that. It has to be at least playable into Knights and Death Guard. Okay. Alright. So, what are we gonna do? We have some ideas, of course. First, I would say detachments. We can play the Gladius. We could do an Iron Storm. We could do something really weird. We could try to work a Firestorm or a Vanguard, an Anvil, or a Librarius. So let's go through all of these. So, the Gladius. If I cannot come to a single thought about what I should do on this dear little stream, I'm just gonna go with the tried and true thing. Calgar, Gilliman, Gladius, Heroes, Infiltrators, Incursors, triple Ballistus Dreadnought, 2 Vindicators, 1 Gladiator, and that's what it is. Basically, the stock vehicle build. It has enough damage to kill knights. It has just enough things to play attrition with the Death Guard, and basically you just have to outplay your opponent in order to do well. That's option number one. We could also build a MSU. Parking lot or MSU. We could build an MSU Gladius, which would be we are playing a bunch of combat units. We're giving them double oath. We're charging our opponent, and we're doing some stuff like that. Iron Storm. We could go Dreadnought, spam, or we could go parking lot. Basically, we're playing the same list as we would in the Gladius. We're just trading the mobility and flexibility for just more damage, basically more consistency, which isn't a bad place to be, honestly, because we lost a lot of stuff here. Firestorm is the one I'm very iffy about. I have no idea what to do in the Firestorm detachment because I think this detachment is bad. I know there has been a really good player placing first at a big major with a Firestorm list, and I looked at the list. Unfortunately, we can't run that list because I do not currently own any Vanguard veterans. I could make anything else work, but I do not have Vanguard veterans. Good evening, Honza. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, Firestorm. It would be a hull based build, I think. Melter spam, something like that. We would play a bunch of eradicators, a bunch of tanks, and just try to make that work. But I am not very sold on this, so I honestly think Vanguard and Firestorm are just out because I don't feel like playing these two detachments. Maybe if one of you has a really good idea for something I could do, that's what we're gonna do. Oh, also I will do this so all the words are on. Or I could just delete the it. So now, yeah, okay. Now everything is readable. All right. Anvil. Anvil would be a parking lot. You're gonna notice a theme here. Parking lots, Desolation Marines, stuff like that. Salutations, James. Welcome, and thank you so much for your top chat over here. So yeah, anvil. We could make an anvil work. Allegedly, it would involve heavy intercessors. Heavy intercessors, of course. So let's just abbreviate that, I think. Heavy intercessors. And then there's the option we go with Librarius, and we just go anti-vehicle elite infantry. So which of these sounds good to you? So I will go through some of the ideas. I had an Ironstorm, never finished the list. So Ironstorm I would be building from ground up. And there's also the idea of Anvil. So my last Anvil list looked something like this. Let's go to Anvil Siege Force. I played Marnius Calgar in a unit of company heroes. No Gilliman. I played a Apothecary Biologist with Ignore Cover. I played a Captain in Gravis Armor with the Feel No Pain enhancement. I played a Captain in Gravis Armor with the Get Back on a 2-up. I did that. We had 10 heavy intercessors as like our bulwark kind of brick. We had 5 Desolation Marines for critical 5s. We have 3 Eradicators, 5 Hellblasters. They were in an Impulsor, I believe. 5 Infiltrators, 5 Scouts, 3 Suppressors, just because we had points left over. A double Vindicator, and 1 Impulsor. Yeah, so basically this is the list I would probably modify a bit, because I do think in Anvil you want to have a Storm Speed or Hammer Strike, because you can rapid ingress them with Deep Strike, and then you can stay stationary and hit on 2s, which is pretty good. So what's good about Anvil Siege Force? Let's talk a bit about it. So let's go on a deep dive with Anvil. Anvil deep dive. Salutations, McTech. Thank you for tuning in. How's the Ultra list going? We're on it. We're just starting. I'm basically laying the groundwork so we can maybe bounce some ideas off of each other and come to an idea. So, what's good? So positives. The anvil doesn't need oath. Is it ultra enough? We will try to make that work. Don't need oath. If you get the heavy penalty set up, Anvil Siege Force doesn't need oath. Because all of your units hit on 2s and they get +1 to wound. If they are heavy. Oh, hey Nick, it's you. Salutations. Yeah, needs more servo turrets. It's maybe not an anvil. The anvil servo turret is not exactly what I would. Is that thing heavy? Wait, give me a second. Is the servo turret heavy? Fire strike servo turret. It isn't. There's no way. It's heavy. It hit on 2s. There's no way. Nope. Just twin linked. Dang it. All right. Yeah, maybe not in this detachment. All right. You have a reroll wounds into vehicles strats. It's 2 CP, but it is really good. This with +1 to wound really allows you to punch up into like big targets. Even if you don't have stationary, you just oath something and you do something. And you have crit 5s. And it stacks for lethal / sustained. Which is pretty good. Because if you rapid ingress something in, and you can do that, it's pretty nice. And you get a durable brick. Heavies with 6 up, feel no pain. I really like the heavy intercessors with the heavy with the feel no pain because they are actually difficult to shift. Even if your opponent has a damage-free blast weapon, if you make it to an objective so you can so you have it active, it's pretty good. It's also pretty difficult to take the objective away from you because you have 2 OC on each model, which you can turn into 3 OC for your turn, though that is not that important. And if you get battle shocked, you always go down to 1 OC. So unless your opponent is just on the objective with more units, you can always get your feel no pain by just having more OC. So they basically have to kill you. The negatives. Standing still is bad. Heavy. Obviously, most of these rules require you to stand still. And standing still against a Death Guard or a Knight Army is obviously pretty bad. You basically have to troll them with some things. Also, of course, the mobility tools off of what was it called? What is that amazing strat called? It is rigid discipline. If you want to know more about the Anvil Siege Force, you can hit me up in the Discord for my previous video when I took the Anvil to a 2-in-1 finish at an RTT, and it was actually super fun. And I think I can write a better list with the Anvil now than I was able to back then. So that's something that does work. Yeah, standing still is bad. Heavy. No combat buffs. Of course, we're staying... Basically, we are a shooting army if we decide to go with the Anvil. The Anvil is also not great with Robute Gilliman. I do think it is a bit it is more of a Calgar detachment because we don't have advance and charge. We have a very conditional fallback and charge on it, so I do think we want some Gavin Leon. What about the Stormwave and Pack and Stormlands in this meta? Josh Roberts went undefeated with a Stormlands. Did he win or did he only got number 2? He placed at either he won it or he placed at number 2 with a Stormraven list, which I do think is pretty good. The problem is the Supermajor I'm going to has really annoying terrain for the Stormraven to move around. It's the same terrain as the German Supermajor in May, and on that terrain, even though you can move around. Oh yeah, CP Hungry. Thank you for reminding me, Nick. CP Hungry. Two CP spreads. Of course. Yeah. Here we go. So, and yeah, basically all of the ruins on that terrain format are like 7 inches high. And even though the Stormraven can move up and down, I lost a lot of movement in practice, moving my Stormraven around those tables. So I could run a Stormraven list. The problem is honestly don't want to, because I do think the Stormlands is very command point hungry because of reactive move, and losing Calgar's extra command point in addition to the previous nerf that took away the reactive move on the vehicles, I really noticed how much worse the Stormlands is. So this is a thing. So this is a thing. You know what? I think we do. Yeah. Yeah, James, we did mention that. We have it over here in number 2. The Gladius parking lot is something we could play. I've been playing that list for a long time now, and I'm kind of sick of playing with it. It's obviously good. It's obviously doing something. We can talk about some innovations in that for a second. Let's go to the Gladius list. So everyone is on the same page. The Conan Gladius list. It's Calgar Gilliman, Captain in Gravis armor with Artificer armor for 5 up feel no pain and 2 up safe. A lieutenant with the honor vehement and a lone up, so the combi lieutenant. We have 4 company heroes for Calgar. We have 5 incursors. We have 5 infiltrators. We have 5 scouts. We have 3 ballista dreadnoughts, 2 vindicators, and 1 gladiator reaper. Yeah, this list just works. It kills things. It records speed. There's nothing bad about it. It works. It works completely right. DKNF works Vanguard with double infiltrators and Death Sense. That is a pretty hard call to just screw over Tyranids in particular. I am a bit worried about Vanguard because the it is a bit difficult to not die immediately if the knights get a line of sight to you. So if you drop down your Centurions and you you put Oath and some supplementary fire and you take down a big knight, if that big knight shoots the Centurions back, they just die. If you roll bad. It is so annoying because the Knight Atropos and Canis Rex both have damage 4 guns. It is super annoying to play against it with an infantry army, which the Vanguard would be. We could maybe use the Vanguard list I took to the Firebug Open. Do I still have it? Is it still here? No, I deleted it. Why did I delete the Vanguard list? That doesn't seem like me. So yeah, let's talk about the Vanguard for a second. Vanguard, Spearhead, Firebug. So let's take a look at this. Excuse me while I hide the notepad here. So the list I ran to the Firebug Open, which I would probably rewrite because one thing about the list I didn't like in practice. Yeah, so we had Gilliman and Calgar, which is the thing that I only took because of the extra command point. We had a unit of Eradicators. We had no battle line, I remember that. We had a captain in Phobos armor with the with the Ghostweave cloak for lone up. What do I think about Vindicators? You're scared to buy them because big chance of going into Legends in 11th. Yeah, Honza, that is a very real possibility. If you don't have Vindicators now and you don't plan on going to Supermajor level events, maybe you don't take maybe you don't buy Vindicators now. If you're worried about it, about losing your investment, it feels bad. So I wouldn't buy Vindicators unless you specifically planned to go to events in the near future. If you want to grind some tournaments like Supermajors and stuff, you should just get some Vindicators. You can get the Horus Heresy one. It's a bit better of a kit, but that's just what it is. So we had a unit of Desolation Marines. Give me a second. I just want to recreate the Firebug Open list. We had 1 unit of Infiltrators, 1 unit of Scouts, Here we go. Scouts, 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 scouts. And we had 1 unit of incursors, of course. Chainsword, heavy bolter, shotgun. I'm getting a lot of questions. I will be answering you shortly. Don't you worry, brothers. Just let me finish this whole thing here. We had the Centurions, of course. Centurion Devastator Squad. Twin Lass, and of course we had the extra Centurions. Here we go. What was the rest of the list? Does anyone remember? Oh yeah, the Apothecary Biologist with Blade Driven Deep. The Blade Driven Deep. Yeah, double infiltrators do keep Death Guard at length. That is a good point. I will actually get this noted down. Let's go. This is gonna be so chaotic. General notes, and we gonna salute because it's the general note. Notes. All right. Double infiltrators. Double infiltrators. Pro. Good into Death Guard, Nids, Demons. Cons. Really bad into Knights. Okay. So this is basically what I think about double infiltrators. I do agree we want 1 unit of infiltrators always. That's just the thing we're gonna do. But yeah. Hansa, you play 2 Redemptors as you're pushing units and hoping for buffs. Hey, if you don't like that, if you don't like that, so that is fine. Matt, you think it's sketchy because Hammer Death Guard don't care as much? Do you mean because they don't run Death Shroud? Because the 12-inch Deep Strike blocks the 6-inch Deep Strike, even if you are contagion. Even if you have contagion, you cannot come in within 12. But if you mean because they don't even take Death Shroud, they just shoot you to death, that is a complete point. That is a completely correct argument. You don't need double infiltrators when they charge you, have a reactive move, and Death Guard usually have 3 indirect pieces. Yes. Yeah, the Plague Burst Crawler, I do hope they don't keep playing that. The Plague Burst Crawler is also a reason why I don't like right here, why I'm not a big fan of the Desolation Marines. Desolation Marines die to PBCs. And that is bad because you pay 200 for those, so you basically impulsor tax. That's something. All right. Sorry, brothers. Let me scroll up in the chat for a second. Yeah, James. Yeah, you can buy a recast thing, of course. DK, 2 units of free depth sense. Graph Cannon Devs and a Razorback and triple ballistas. You like G-Man better than Kalga because of CP reduction. Is that something you want to play in Vanguard or something you want to play in Anvil or something? Gabino Leon, sorry for ignoring you this long. Look at the rules up top here. It has to be Ultramarines. And it has to be models I own. Which obviously you guys cannot immediately know what models I own, but I cannot play Salamanders because I don't own Vulcan Heston or Adrax and whatever. I do not own these models and I cannot get them until Saturday. It would be too late. So yeah, this is basically... So what else did I run in that silly Vanguard list? I can't even remember. Yeah, I had infiltrators, I had scouts, I had incursors. I don't even remember. I have to check my own YouTube channel too. To check. What did I even run at the Firebug Major? I completely forgot. Here we go. No, not that. Ah, here we go. Firebug tournament report. Oh yeah, I had 2 units of JPI. Yeah, of course. I was completely out of that. I completely forgot. I had 2 units of jump pack intercessors. Assault intercessors with jump packs. I had 2 of these. And then 40 points, and those 40 points are the points I got back from the rules changes. Okay, so this is the Vanguard list I was running at the Firebug Open. And it obviously changed a lot because I do not want to play Gilliman in the Vanguard anymore. Because Gilliman is now bad in the Vanguard because you just lose all of your command points. Here we go. Alright. You have a reactive move, and Death Guard usually have 3 indirect pieces. Owen, you made some bad financial decisions already. Maybe don't do do anymore. Thank you very much. Eradicators you found lacking into Knights, wounding on 5s. Eradicators are worse into Knights than they used to be. No, that's not completely correct. Eradicators are worse into Big Knights because Big Knights have more wounds and they get wounded the same, and they are cheaper. So it's bad. But Eradicators are a lot better into Armigers and War Dogs. Eradicators into War Dogs is actually pretty good. It's a you can like hit them pretty hard just to clean them up for like 100, and it works in Overwatch, which I really like. So, what is the mood in chat? What detachment should we focus on? Should we build a? I'll put Vanguard back in the thing because I see a lot of Vanguard fans. A Vanguard, I don't know. I don't know infantry. Infantry, I guess. All right. So, what do you think, brothers? What detachments should we try to make work out of this list of things to do? I let me talk about Librarius for a second because I have an RTT coming up and I already wrote a Librarius Conclave list. Let me go over that one. We are running a Librarius Conclave. We have Chief Librarian Tigurius with 6 Blade Guard veterans. We have a Librarian with Fusillade, a Phobos Librarian with Prescience, a Librarian in Terminator armor with Advance and Charge, Celerity, 1 Librarian in Terminator armor just like that. We have 10 Heavy Intercessors. We have 5 Intercessors just for the home field. We have 6 Blade Guard veterans for Tigurius. We have 5 Infiltrators for the Librarian, so we have this forward deploying scoring unit with the reactive move and the lone op. 10 Stern Guard for the Fusillade to just blow up a vehicle in one shot. 2 units of Terminators because it is a really annoying thing to kill, and it is a really small footprint of like an elite combat unit. 2 Ballista Strats for fire support. 1 drop pod for the Stern Guard, so we can drop them in on turn 1 at an angle, kill a vehicle, no questions asked, and it's dead. And we have Inquisitor Cortez. I want to talk about Inquisitor Cortez for a second. So, Cortez gives you an extra command point on a 2-up if your opponent has a rule that gives them a command point on a 2-up. So, this is obviously really good against Death Guard, and it is obviously useless against things like Thousand Suns or Knights. But yeah, that's the spy at work. He can give his unit ignore cover, which is pretty fun. He does count as a Psyker. So if you put Cortez into a Psyker, into a heavy intercessor unit, all of them are now Psykers because of the keyword, and they now get the reroll once to hit and wound from the Conclave. Second, this is actually what I really like. While you are leading a unit, you have a 6-up invulnerable save, and You have a 4-up invulnerable save against psychic attacks and demon models. If you go through the list of all the things over here, the damage free problem. Things that do damage free. It's the Forge Fiend. It's the Bloat Drone. It's Magnus the Red. Did you notice something all of these have in common? The Forge Fiend is a demon. Bloat Drone is a demon. Magnus the Red is a demon. And a wizard. So, this actually means... of course, there's more things, like the Winged Demon Prince on EC. Winged EC Prince is a demon. So, basically, against most of the relevant damage-free units you will see out in the game, you have a 4-up invulnerable save. Obviously, this does absolutely nothing if Magnus the Red is rolling a devastating wound. It does absolutely nothing if the Demon Prince is charging you with mortal wounds. And that's just gonna suck. That's just a bad place to be. But it actually makes a huge difference into bloat drones and Forge Fiends, because having a 4-up invuln on your toughness 6 body actually means they don't wound you as well and they don't kill you as well. So that is something to keep in mind. So this is the Librarius Conclave, just in case you were thinking about it. All right. Honza is interested in Dread Spam. James, if you think you're going to do well with you should take the Gladius as the best thing. Yeah, James, this is a really good piece of advice, but I don't have to do well. I am currently not enjoying the game, and I would prefer, if possible, to either change the Gladius to be a bit more fun for me, or to run something completely wacky. Because I already have a GT under my belt with the classic Gladius parking lot, and I did pretty well. The video about that is still in the works, so I'm still working on it. But right now, I'm trying not to cancel the Supermajor. It's basically my current mood. I hate the Night Meta so much. I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. I hate it so much. I don't even mind Death Guard that much, but I hate Knights. I hate Knights with a passion. And I don't want to play something boring over the weekend. And that's why we're doing this here. So this is something we can do. But to go back on the Gladius, I want to show you some of my variations. This is the double infiltrator version of the Gladius I made. It is the same core. It has a Reaper. It has the Vindicator stuff. It has double infiltrators, and it downgrades the captain in Gravis armor to a captain with jump peg. And this is a pretty important change, because you are obviously a lot easier to kill without the half damage. But you get a thing that can deep strike or 12-inch move. And it can rapid ingress for free. So, this is something you can do. I give him the hammer and the shield. And basically, a lot of times, Death Guard players don't screen their backfield. They don't have anything in their backline except for like one Tallyman. And they keep moving their stuff up. Because even on the Plague Burst crawlers, you usually want to shoot the entropy cannons at something. And it's usually like a Tallyman on the home objective, because it's sticky and they can move forward. And if you just rapid ingress into their backline and you just clonk that Tallyman into the floor, you can just roll them from behind. And that is pretty fun. Also, the captain with jump pack is better into knights, because you can hide and then fly up and throw a grenade. which the Gravis Captain doesn't do. Also, the Gravis Captain has a problem into Knights and into Death Guard because the durability doesn't matter. He just dies anyway. If you have Canis Rex's damage, it doesn't matter. He still just dies because he's too like it's a knight. Knights shoot way too hard. It's so annoying. So that is one change we did. We need Bobby G and Gladius. Vic, you need Robert because you want to give your Ballistus Dreads and Vindicators the +1 to wound. So you can kill two things in one shooting phase every single time. That's basically what it is. Yes, even the Ballistas, which already have rerolls to hit, you really need the +1 to wound to make them punch in. It's also pretty important to have it in melee, so you can have Calgar with strength 8 +1 to wound hit something with the damage-free melee. So that is something. I played a little RTT recently. Do I have that build here? Gladius Storm Intercessors. Here we go. Chat, just in case I haven't mentioned it before. The reason why all of these Gladius lists are called Gladius Storm is because it's just Iron Storm and Gladius. That's basically what I'm calling it. That's just it. So this list isn't Robert super good into Knights, like 800 points of over moment. Not just that, Honza, Robute Gilliman is really good at killing knights in combat because he is AP 4, damage 4, so they get no save in melee unless it's the broken Forge World Knights. That's what it is. Jesse, any replacement for Vindicators, or is the 2-up too valuable? There is no replacement for a Vindicator because they keep nerfing the infantry shooting. If Eradicators with Fire Discipline were still a thing, I would probably run that over Vindicators still. Because you can probably split fire and kill two big knights with one Eradicator squad if you had the old rules back. But yeah, Vindicators are, it's the 2-up save, it's the volume of shots compared to anything else. And yeah, you can, the problem is the Redemptor Dreadnought is more expensive than the Vindicator, and it is so pillow fisted. It doesn't do any damage with its guns. It's so weak. That's the problem with the Vindicator versus Redemptor Dreadnought. Did I say Redemptor? I did mean Redemptor, if I said something else. So this is a list I ran to in a little RTT. And I was actually surprised because it worked out pretty well. We have Manius Calgar. We have Robute Gilliman. We have a lieutenant with fire discipline. The lieutenant has a mastercrafted bolter, a power fist, a heavy pistol, and fire discipline. So sustained hits and lethal hits. We have a lieutenant with combi weapon. We have 10 intercessors, just regular intercessors. We have 2 units of eradicators, one for Manius Calgar, one for just skirmishing. We had a unit of infiltrators for deep strike denial. We have a unit of scouts for scouting. And we have triple ballistas and 2 vindicators. So basically, I dropped the company heroes for eradicators. We had a unit of eradicators for skirmish, and we replaced the Gravis Captain and the Gladiator Reaper for a lieutenant and intercessor. So, what is my thought about this? And this is something I mapped out. Intercessor map. Oh wait. A Gladiator Reaper. Average damage against knights. 4. A Gladiator Reaper should on average with Oath of Moment do like 4, between like 3 and 5 damage to a knight. That's because you can always hope you can get some devastating wounds from range. Intercessors average damage against knight. Uh, 17. Yes, the intercessors in the Gladius with sustained hits and lethal hits and Oath and Storm of Fire. You don't even need the big Storm of Fire. I calced against the 4-up save for the invuln. If they have a 5-up, they take even more. Yeah, the Intercessor squad does an average damage of 17 against a big knight. And against a small knight, because you always wound on 5s. It doesn't make a difference. So, this is the reason why I wanted to try that swap. And it actually worked out pretty well. It's also a lot better into Necrons, because the Gladiator Reaper is actually just not doing a single thing into Necrons. But that Intercessor squad can just kill a Doomsday Arc from full to dead. Most of the time. I mean, of course, if you make them... Like, it's always a thing about quantity. In my opinion, quantity is right now more valuable than quality in terms of what your actual shooting does. And the reason why is because of invulnerable saves. It has always been a widely accepted thing in the Space Marine community that the Gladiator Lancer obviously has a better gun than the Redemptor Dreadnought, because the Lancer has a strength 14, AP 4, D6 plus 3 gun that has a reroll built in into hit, wound, and damage, while the Redemptor Dreadnought only has a strength 12, AP 3 gun. You done the math for including a charge? No, Ultramarine Marines, I have not. This is only the shooting. If you also charge, you kill it. It's pretty easy to kill it. If you charge in, you should kill it. I did calc the Feel No Pain too. So this is actually what it is. It is 17 damage without melee and with the Feel No Pain. So a Chaos Knight actually takes like 22 damage. It's way harder. So where was I? I was talking about something and I completely forgot what was my train of thought. Excuse me. Necrons full today. Yes, volume. Excuse me. What a tangent. So, basically, if you wound something twice with your Lancer and your opponent has a 4-up invuln, on average, your opponent prevents one of that damage. And if they reroll, they prevent both damage like 70% of the time. This is obviously pretty bad. So, instead, I have decided, and many Space Marine players have decided to play with Vindicators and Ballistus Dreadnoughts because they just have more shots. You have 2 shots with the laser and 2 with the missiles, and you are more durable on ranged, so you can shoot more often. This is a thing that we're doing where you just keep shooting them with more and more shots. If you make them roll more dice, they will fail more 4-up invulns. 4-up invulns are really good if you have low volume. And basically this intercessor calculation is operating on the same process. If you hand a Doomsday Arc 28 saves, the ability for those saves to swing up is mathematically so much lower than if you handed a Doomsday Arc 3 saves and it went below average. Vindicators are so bad at shooting Doomsday Arcs, it's embarrassing. But intercessors with this combo are so good into it. You have 4 points of deviation before dropping it outside, before not killing it. It is, and they can't do anything about it. They can't -1 damage. They can't smoke, basically. They can't do anything about it. You just okay, I mean, smoke would work actually, but yeah, if you shoot a vehicle, they cannot -1 damage. They cannot -1 to wound, because it's like you wounding on 5s because of the effect. That's just something that happens. All right. DK knife works. Devastators with graph cannons popping out of a razorback. Lots of shots. There's a strength strat that amps BS and AP and Vanguard. There is. The problem is, what is the actual math that's coming out of this? Let me do that calculation for a second. Let me hit that math for a second. Let's just do it in the head actually. So Devastator math +1 to hit, reroll hits, reroll wounds. AV 3+. Okay. So each graph cannon has 3 shots, I'm pretty sure. Is it 3 shots? I think it's 3, right? Here we go, Devastator Squad. We have a graph cannon. 3 shots. Okay. So we have 12 shots. 12 shots. Hit on 3+. Reroll all and flip 1. Flip 1. So that is 8 hits. You reroll 4 of them. That's 2 more. Then you flip 1, so 11 hits. Wound 3+. That means you wound with like 7. You reroll the other 3, so 9. 9 wounds. They take 4 ups. 4 up. 4 up invuln. That means like 4.5 go through, which equals to like between 12 and 15 damage, which means 6 up Feel No Pain does not kill an armature. That's the problem. Wounding on 2s, 3 shots. Oh, wound on 2s. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, wound on 2s. Yeah, you should hand them 11 wounds. That sounds reasonable. 11 wounds. Okay. So that means 4 invuln / save. Okay. Okay, so that actually means you get like between 5 and 6 through, which means between 15 and 18 damage. With the Feel No Pain, that's like 12 to 15, like 12 to 16, or like 13 to 16. I mean, that should kill an armature more often than not, but it's so expensive though. You spend a command point, you have to buy a Razorback to kill a 140 point model. Don't you just do more damage if you have multi-melters? Like for real? Like if you have 8 shots with multi-melters, like you hit on 3s, you wound on 4s with Oath. Like you get 5 through, that's like 14.5. Oh, it's actually less if you're not in melter range, to be fair. That's actually true. But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it, DK. It's just like this is really cool, but you can do that once and then your Devastators die and they didn't even kill the Big Knight. It's just mathematically not happening. With the Intercessors, the thing is, that's obviously also expensive, but the Intercessor unit, that's not what their main job is. Basically, the main job of the Intercessor unit is still to kill an infantry squad. So if I play against orcs or Genestealer cults, I want to have a unit in my staging ruin that can walk through the wall and just kill that 20-man unit in one salvo, because you get like 42 bullets with sustained lethal. You wound on 2s, you rip through their t-shirt saves, no saves allowed. You just kill every single one of them. And then you oath the one in reserve, and that one comes back, and you just overwatch it to death, or you overwatch like 11 of them dead or something. It goes crazy, and that's what their main job is. But if you happen to play against Necrons or vehicles, and that's a thing. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, DK, my problem is the AP1. I don't like graph cannons because of AP1. I think I would always rather have a last cannon with just reroll wounds and hitting on 2s and just the d6+1 instead of the flat 3. That's my problem with the graph cannons. I hate the AP1 because every single vehicle in the game has cover. If there was an easy way to ignore cover, like having a hammer strike speeder, that would be a completely different thing. So yeah, we did a lot of talks here, but yeah, DK, I will give you one thing. It is not the worst idea I've ever heard. It like 15 to 18 damage is respectable. It's not completely worthless. This is something that is like fine. It does what the calculator says, and it is a lot of volume, so you don't rely on invulns and spiking on the dice too much. So, Battle Brothers, how are you guys feeling detachment wise? Should we pursue this Gladius thing? Should I do something else? What is the mood now that we went into this long thing here? I think Gladius and Iron Storm is basically the same list. I think these two are the same list. It's just a different detachment rule. I don't think Iron Storm is particularly interesting to play. Like it's the same thing with even less interesting rules. The Librarius would be pretty funny. I'll give everyone that. It would be pretty funny. I have no idea how that list is supposed to beat Death Guard though, because like you have a bunch of mortal wounds, but you do need to use them, and that's basically it. What about Envil? Any Envil believers in chat? Any brothers on Envil? Yeah, I do hear some people go like it seems to be pretty much in favor of Gladius. Anyone feeling about the like Gladius Librarius? Let's do an Envil. Let's take a look at an Envil. Like what it. Oh, so let's before I do that, one thing about this list here. I would definitely not play the Eradicators again. I think my actual swap on this list that I played is actually just bring back the Captain in Gravis armor with the Artificer armor, and then bring back the Company Heroes. This is actually what I would play if I had to adjust this build. You are down a unit of Incursors, which is really annoying me because Incursors are so good. But yeah, this is basically what I like. This is what I would do if I had to redo the list from the RTT, because the Eradicators were not good. They were not that great. It was a cute idea, but it didn't work out in the end. All right. Yeah, Death Guard, bad matchup for Librarius. You will try Gladius or Vanguard. Yeah, it's not great. To be fair, the Librarius in particular is not doing really well right now. Mostly because the Librarius really struggles with unit count and not having any fallback and shoot in it. And you can't even buy lieutenants to get it because lieutenants block your units from having a librarian. Excuse me, I was taking a sip. Yeah, let's do a Anvil Siege Force. So this is the Anvil we talked about from before. Vindicators and Anvil are actually sick. These things are baller good. Vindicator and Anvil is really good. It has one issue. There is no advance and shoot. And that is pretty annoying. There's no advanced shoot in Anvil, but reroll wounds on a Vindicator is pretty sick. And so is crit fives. If you go into combat with a Vindicator and they don't want to fall back because it's on an objective or something, and you just blast into combat hitting on twos with crit fives, mamma mia, this is sick. Yeah, Vindicators in Anvil are sick. You just have to be really careful with the yeah. Sustain hits 1 for 1 and it's crit fives with staying stationary. It's pretty cool. Let's go back to the anvil thing. So yeah, here we have the anvil positives and negatives. We just have to do stuff. Yes. Oh, Jokits. Yeah. You have something with Inferno pistols. It's good with Oath. Yeah. This is what the Firestorm list that won recently was about. Sorry, someone else mentioned Vanguard veterans before. Who was it? Sorry if I can't find your post in chat from before. Yeah, really, really sorry. If I didn't ignore you, I was saving your post for later. Vanguard veterans seem to be pretty good. The problem is, right now I do not own any. I do not own any Vanguard veterans at this moment, and I cannot get some until Saturday. Unfortunately. So here we go. Anvil Siege Force. Let's just start clean, I think. Yeah. All right. So let's start clean. So what are the auto take units in Anvil Siege Force? Is there a strategy to make a Redeemer work in Gladius? Unforeseen, there is. Unfortunately, right now, I don't think it's worth doing because knights are a thing. If knights ever stop being a thing, you can go back to the Redeemer. I think a Redeemer with a unit that can fight inside, or just like 3 Assault Centurions, is like super good. If you use your Redeemer as like your centerpiece, you put it into the center, you overwatch a bunch of people. It's the Redeemer is really good if like World Eaters or Orcs are good, because they usually can't really handle it. And if you overwatch, it's really bad. Yeah, Assault Centurions, it's pretty good. Yeah, they slap. They do slap. Unfortunately, Assault Centurions outside of a Redeemer are only good in Stormlands, because you pay a lot of points for Assault Centurions, and if you are not in Stormlands, you cannot use your full potential, because you need to pay 1 CP to have Assault, and you can always advance and charge. So you can shoot and charge, and you can advance, shoot, and charge, which in the Gladius you can't do both. You can only pick one of the two. And if you're not shooting before you're charging, you're just missing out on so much of the profiles. All right, let's talk about the Anvil Siege Force. In my opinion, the Anvil Siege Force is a Marnius Calgar detachment because you don't need Oath if you have +1 to wound from the detachment rule, and you don't have advance and charge. You don't have fallback and charge. That makes Gilliman so much less mobile to do stuff. Also, I really want the extra command point because the Anvil is hungry. It needs more points. A unit of Desolation Marines with crit 5s. I know we're not having plunging fire, but you can stay still and have a +1 to wound super crack missile, and then a bunch of like supplementary shots. Like this actually does a dent. The problem is Desolation Marines come with an impulsor tax, because the impulsor, without an impulsor, you just get a Plague Burst crawled into the floor. It's annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah, you do need an impulsor, because if you see one of those, then it's good night. And of course, we need a Gravis Captain or a Apothecary Biologist. I think the Biologist is more important, actually. So Apothecary Biologist with Stoic Defender, and then we have a Heavy Intercessor squad of 10 dudes. Here we go. 10 Heavy Intercessors and a Biologist. So you can stay still. You can have lethal hits and sustained hits on crit 5s. It's just a good time. There's always a thing. You always have to decide. Do you take a brick of Heavy Intercessors? which means you are just if you take a break with two characters, so you take a captain and an apothecary, that means you are more resilient to precision, because the Gravis captain is really, really difficult to precision out because of the half damage, which means your unit will not lose its feel no pain to a to a chaos lord charging you with epic challenge up, which the biologist does actually die to. On the other hand, it does make the unit more expensive by like 110 points. And if you take both characters, you also give them the ignore cover thing. So yeah, and also the captain has a more relevant gun, but the captain also doesn't give you lethal hits. So overall, it's a bit of a downgrade, I would say. Yeah. The bio can stay behind the wall on the objective to enable the datasheet ability, then 22 shot. Yeah, of course you can do it with positioning. You can obviously do the positioning. One thing I really like about the free free fallback strat, if you have a captain 2, yes. If you have a captain 2, you can do the fallback thing for free, which is also really good. Or you can do the crit 5s for free, which is also pretty good. So in my opinion, I actually think you take the ignore cover, and then you take a captain 2 with excuse me, a captain in Gravis armor with, and that guy has stoic defender. Just to have it longer. And I do think you take the mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle because it is heavy, which means it does have +1 to wound with damage free. That's the thing that's gonna happen. This unit is obviously really bad if your opponent has a 2-up save and armor of contempt, because that means you will not scratch the paint through armor of contempt. That is something you have to do some stuff to counteract. We do make Calgar the Warlord. So if we include all of this, we are at 870, and we don't have a unit for Calgar yet, which is something we have to actually include here. All right, so there's a thing I would actually argue for, and that thing is double Vindicator. Or maybe just one Vindicator, who knows? Maybe you run one and you rapid ingress it, and then you stay still and you hit on 2s. That is something you could do. You also have the Hammer Strike, and I do think the Hammer Strike is pretty important in this army because you don't have ignore cover on a strat. And the Hammer Strike also really likes to crit on 5s. It's pretty good doing that. If we do that, we are running out of space for a lot of other stuff. We need infiltrators, because infiltrators are one unit to put on the home field. I also think we probably want to have the lone op lieutenant, the lieutenant with combi weapon. Here's the biggest heartbreak of the detachment. I really, really wish the lieutenant with combi weapon was allowed to take Indomitable Fury. This is the 2-up get back up when you die enhancement. If this could go on the lone op lieutenant, this detachment would be so goated. It would be so good to have that. It would be incredible. It would be so good. But alas, no fun allowed. It only goes on Gravis models, so it's so annoying. I really wish it would work. So we could include a unit of Eradicators for Calgar. Or we could just go with company heroes, like classic. So let's just throw it in here just for Eradicator Squad. If we included a break of Eradicators for for Calgar. We would be at 140. That means we can afford like one scout squad and one incursor squad. No, not even. That would be what? No, wait, no, no, that would be one. We could afford two scout squads. The thing is, though, it is also pretty good to have heavy weapons in this detachment. So, the basic intercessor squad is actually really good in Anvil Siege Force because it has +1 to hit and wound. And you can double the OC. You could also play a bunch of JPI just to charge things, but I think that would be more of a consideration outside of the night meta. And right now, I think the screening part is a bit more important. So if we did that, we have how many units? We have one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. 12 if we include double scouts. That is really low. That is unfortunately pretty low. So we would have to cut in some places here. Yeah. Obviously, we could consider to cut the Desolation Marines because it is a pretty expensive package and it's obviously not as good without plunging fire, but with the crit 5s, they're actually not bad. With the crit 5s, they're really good against Eldar, and Eldar have been on an uprise here. Eldar usage has been on an upswing. And if you are in an Eldar meta, you can just kill them. It's pretty good. You can just hit them pretty hard. Sisters too. Sisters are also being more played. So it's obviously pretty good against sisters. There's also the question, do you want a second Gravis Captain with the get back up on a 2-up enhancement? So you can put him on an objective and just say, hey, shoot me. And if they don't, you just win the game because you score primary. On the other hand, I don't think you need to have that much scoring in chapter approved right now because you just want to kill your opponent. And that's basically what that is. Any Battle Brothers in chat, what do you guys think? Like, if we include double scouts here, this is the finished list, but we have Calgar with Eradicators. No enhancements, unfortunately, but it would be a damage unit. It would be a advance through the wall, shoot a bunch of Melter, charge, use the strat to fall back and do something. Type of units. We don't need... Eradicators are pretty sweet because they have heavy weapons, but it's obviously difficult to get a stationary shooting phase out of them. You can also do something with Uriel Ventris, so I want to mention it just because I haven't before. Because you can give Deep Strike to some Eradicators, and then you can use Rapid Ingress on the Deep Strike. Are there like 2 or 3 missions for positional scoring in the new chapter approved? Yes, it's there is engage on all fronts, there is behind enemy lines, but that one is difficult. And there is the new one where you have to have more units in No Man's Land. Display of Might. That's the one. There's not a lot of actions, actually. And honestly, nowadays, whenever I draw an action secondary, I just ditch it, like, immediately. I don't even bother. Because I don't want to get a lead on secondaries because of the challenger cards. The challenger cards do actually ruin the entire thing. So anything you guys think is a bit sus here? I do think the 6 eradicators are a bit sus. I don't know if that's actually what we want to be doing here. It would give us 200 points back, or like 95 if we go with if we instead take back if we take back the heroes. Is there anything spicy Kelgar can join which I haven't considered yet. Of course, I wouldn't want to anyway. I could just run a third Vindicator, but triple Vindicator is pretty bad without advance and shoot. And that's just the thing here. So yeah, this is something like this would be what I would be interested in would be what I'm interested in for the Vanguard here, for the Anvil Siege Force. So if we go back to the Gladius just to talk through it, and I take the list from my RTT and I change it back to company heroes, because I did have a thought about that, and I want to know your opinions if you actually think I'm cooking here. I put the wait, that was the wrong list. Excuse me. Yeah, Gladius Storm. Let's make a copy here. So what I did actually was wait. Let's get the Gravis Captain back in. Voltstorm, Relic Blade. Yeah, sure, whatever. What I did actually. So this is the version with the Gladiator Reaper. Something I considered is just doing this. Double Incursor. I gave this a trial run for a practice game with a friend on Sunday, and Incursors are so good. I cut a scout squad for an Incursor squad, and honestly, it felt pretty good. I know Infiltrate and Scout is obviously really powerful, but Incursors are just so helpful to do more damage. They're just so goddamn helpful. It feels so incredibly nice to hit on twos. It feels so good to hit on twos. And you always have the option, if you need to like body block World Eaters with something, you can always just sacrifice the Infiltrator squad. Which doesn't feel amazing, but it's something. So any thoughts, Battle Brothers? Am I cooking, or did I burn the food? Because basically what I did, I pushed up the infiltrators towards the midboard so they would be screening my important assets. I had one Incursor squad up to do some skirmishing, and I had one Incursor squad on my home field. And I would just poke out one Incursor to shoot something in midboard that was like stepping onto a midboard objective just to get a +1 to hit. And basically, if I don't give my opponent any reason to shoot the Incursors because there's more important stuff going on, this actually was pretty effective. I did like it. And of course, if you just put the Infiltrators back because you don't fear the deep strikes, you can just push the Incursors in there and just throw your Haywire Mines at the Knights, and it's good night. Just having more mortal wounds and more damage into Knights. Incursors are actually pretty competent at like doing half of an Armiger in like one shooting combat and Haywire activation. Potentially Grenade or Honor the Chapter 2. And of course, we also have the idea to go back to the Intercessor build, which I have decided not to run the Eradicators. Instead, I want to go back to to the company heroes for Calgar because that unit is just so good. And then we have 95 to spend, so we could get the Gravis Captain back, but I actually think it might actually be better to just get doubling cursors too instead of the Gravis Captain. Yeah, that's just an idea. I will actually post the lists I wrote for this. So I do think we focus on two of these lists, but that's what we do. I will actually make a little paste bin and put it into the description for all the lists we wrote. And that's just what we do. So first of all, let's take the Gladius list with the double incursors, the one that I liked. Not that one. This one. So this is the one with the double incursors. I will copy that one. I really like having the Gravis Captain in this list because I talked about it a bit on the Discord. Even though I am not a big fan of the Gravis Captain in the Knight matchup and the Death Guard matchup because he dies really easily. The Gravis Captain is really good into Eldar and like Sisters because he's so good at skirmishing with enemy units. List building with Gladius. Oh, have to do it again. Here we go. I will put that in the description of the thing. Here we go. Edit. Gladius. Lists. Here's the Gladius. I will also give you the Librarius Conclave, the one that I think is actually pretty funny. It's just terrible into Death Guard. Wait. Ooh, did I close it? Here we go. Let's copy that. Oh wait, not short. GW. List building, Librarius. And last but not least, the Anvil list. We just wrote that one, and I will just right there. I'll just put in. I think because this list is down on units, we're actually cutting the captain, and by cutting I mean we're actually switching it to Indomitable Fury, and then we give the Stoic Defender to the Apothecary just to have a 13th unit. And that's actually what we're doing here. And then we run him separately. We can still attach him if we feel like it, but we probably do not. And then we run some extra stuff. What do we got? What do we got? We do have infiltrators. We could run like one squad of suppressors. And we can run one scout squad. Yeah, and we can put the infiltrators into the impulsor, just in case we don't need to do that for the Desolation Marines. We can also put the lieutenant into the impulsor. It's there's always something to do, which is pretty funny. Okay, yeah, this is actually pretty fine. Let's actually min max this because you want to have the sniper rifle. You want combat knives and you want a heavy bolter, I think. Or like a missile launcher. It doesn't really matter. Just the scout squad, and this is actually, yeah, this is maybe a thing. I think suppressors are fine in Anvil because they are heavy. They do help a bit debuffing a knight. Canis Rex hitting on threes is a lot worse than hitting on twos, as you would think. And then I will make that a paste bin 2. All right, let's get a bit theoretical here. So now that we have a few lists in consideration, I will open up a little window here for uh, for the Supermajor and the missions. So what is the rules pack? We did get it. Do I have it on my thing? Let me find the rules pack because I want to take a look at the missions. Uh, wait, why can't I find it? Excuse me for derailing this stream for while I'm looking for. Uh, yeah, let's actually. Searching for the rules pack. Obviously, I'm an expert at streaming, so I did actually absolutely provide all of this information before I started to stream. Would be pretty embarrassing if I didn't, right? Do I have to go on BCP? I genuinely can't find it. I had it like earlier this week. Am I going crazy over here? Where the hell is it? Do I have to actually complain to the Germans in Discord? Here we go, Krefeld Major. Missions. Oh boy, this was difficult to find. Here we go. Here we go. Wow. That was annoying to find. Here we go. Alright. So let's take a look at this. One disclaimer, mission 1 was changed from Purge the Foe to Take and Hold. So we are playing layout 1 on Hammer and Anvil. And then we're playing Search and Destroy layout 1. And then another layout 1. So day 1 is all layout 1. Day 2 is layout 2. Okay. And then the mission 6 is irrelevant because we're not doing our 6th round. So okay, we do have Terraform Take and Hold twice. Is that what it is? We do Take and Hold twice? Is that what that means? Let me check target priority again. Yeah, okay, so it is Take and Hold. So Take and Hold twice in one event. Okay. So yeah, we do have Take and Hold twice. So mission 1 is Take and Hold. Then we have Crucible, Terraform. So layout 1. How do we feel about layout 1, chat? I think layout 2 is better for the normal Gladius, but layout 1 isn't bad because you can stage a Vindicator in this little spot. Is my mouse actually showing up on stream? Let me check. Yeah, can you see it whenever I do something? Yeah, okay, you can. So if you can put a Vindicator here, it drives out, it shoots down. The marker are pretty open in every single mission. On layout 1, it's pretty difficult to hold an objective behind a wall. Like, effectively. It's pretty difficult. You can... Yeah, okay, I do think... I do think the Gladius wins over the Liberius Conclave here. And I do think having a lone op or a durable solo character is also pretty important. It is pretty easy to screen Search and Destroy. No Dawn of Wars, and Search and Destroy is happening twice. Yeah, I do think actually the double incursor build is actually what we're going to go with. So yeah, we did cycle back around to going with the Gladius, I guess, as you so often do. But that is just what's happening. Oh, do I looking at the stream in the stream? Don't need to do that. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, it's not the worst, I think. It's not the worst. Huh. Alright. So, yeah. So yeah, we did write some lists here. Technically, we did write some lists. There are 3 lists in consideration. We have the Librarius with the Koteas heavy intercessor block. We have the Anvil list with the big heavy intercessors. That list is so good on layout 2 because you can go to that top left objective and just sit around and shoot the entire angle downwards. I think that's pretty nice. But I do think we're actually going with the tried and true Gladius list. And that list is gonna be with double incursors. just to have more damage. Is there anything we can get out of that list in terms of like if we drop the Gravis Captain for something else? Is there something we can do on that? Is there something we can get if we get 10 points more? Not really. Nah. It is what it is. So this list is worse than the than the regular intercessor version against like knights, but we do have double incursors to do some fixing. I do think it is a bit difficult on layout 1 to hide a 10-man unit of intercessors effectively. So that part is a bit upsetting. And that's just what it is. So yeah, all right, that will be the stream for today. Thank you so much for dropping in, listening to me just talk to myself for a good 2 hours or something. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Battle Brothers. What is coming for the channel? We're getting close to the 1,000 subscriber mark. Yeah, thank you so much for always checking in with me. I have the GT battle report in the works. It will be out this month, I promise. It will be out this month. I have no further things to say. The script is almost finished, and then I have to just throw it together in editing. But yeah, I do want to talk about the big GT that I placed pretty high at, and I want to give all of you my thoughts about it. With that said, courage and honor, Battle Brothers. Thanks to New Recruit for their awesome army builder. I should buy premium at some point. It's just something I should do. Their website is really good. And I do hope after Knights get a slap on their butt, and Death Guard 2, the game will be a bit more fun overall. With that said, courage and honor, Battle Brothers. We march for McCraig.